Blair sobs. I only wanted to protect the dog, buddy, but Ethan, he became like a different person. He smashed a wine bottle and lunged at me. I thought I was going to die that night. The screen goes dark. The room falls into silence. Only the soft hum of the range hood remains. In a split second, half a second, the smile on Blair's lips vanishes like someone flipping off a power switch. Her facial muscles slacken, her eyes shifting from sparkling to scalpel-sharp cold. She releases Ethan and brushes off her sleeves as if she has touched something filthy. She picks up Ethan's wildflowers. Wildflowers from the side of the highway? Her voice drops low and dull, with no trace of the earlier baby voice. She walks over to the stainless steel recycling bin, steps on the pedal to open the lid, and tosses the bouquet straight inside. Are you trying to bring bugs and pollen into the house to kill me? Do you know I have a magazine cover shoot tomorrow? What if my face swells up from allergies? Do you even have a brain? Ethan stands frozen, his hand still held in the position of offering the flowers. He speaks softly. I'm sorry, I just thought wild daisies were your favorite back in college. That was when I was poor and stupid, Blair hisses, grabbing a wet wipe and scrubbing hard at the spot on Ethan's cheek where she kissed him. Look at the floor, Ethan. Imported white oak, $20 a square foot. You're dripping filthy rainwater all over my money. Ethan looks down. A few drops of water fall from his jacket onto the floor. He hurriedly bends down and wipes them away with his sleeve. Blair stands over him, looking down with utter contempt. Go upstairs and shower in the guest bathroom. Cold water only. Don't waste heating gas. When you're done, sleep in the basement. Tonight I need space to heal from the filth you just brought into my house. Ethan straightens up and trudges towards the stairs. His broad back looks powerful, yet pitifully lonely. Behind him, Blair has already sat back down, sipping a glass of wine and opening her phone to check her engagement metrics. Perfect. 50,000 hearts. Even his stupid face has value, she mutters, not seeing Ethan as a human being at all. The screen goes dark. The room falls into silence. Only the soft hum of the range hood remains. In a split second, half a second, the smile on Blair's lips vanishes like someone flipping off a power switch. Her facial muscles slacken, her eyes shifting from sparkling to scalpel-sharp cold. She releases Ethan and brushes off her sleeves as if she has touched something filthy. She picks up Ethan's wildflowers. Wildflowers from the side of the highway? Her voice drops low and dull, with no trace of the earlier baby voice. She walks over to the stainless steel recycling bin, steps on the pedal to open the lid, and tosses the bouquet straight inside. Are you trying to bring bugs and pollen into the house to kill me? Do you know I have a magazine cover shoot tomorrow? What if my face swells up from allergies? Do you even have a brain? Ethan stands frozen, his hand still held in the position of offering the flowers. He speaks softly. I'm sorry, I just thought wild daisies were your favorite back in college. That was when I was poor and stupid, Blair hisses, grabbing a wet wipe and scrubbing hard at the spot on Ethan's cheek where she kissed him. Look at the floor, Ethan. Imported white oak, $20 a square foot. You're dripping filthy rainwater all over my money. Ethan looks down. A few drops of water fall from his jacket onto the floor. He hurriedly bends down and wipes them away with his sleeve. Blair stands over him, looking down with utter contempt. Go upstairs and shower in the guest bathroom. Cold water only. Don't waste heating gas. When you're done, sleep in the basement. Tonight I need space to heal from the filth you just brought into my house. Ethan straightens up and trudges towards the stairs. His broad back looks powerful, yet pitifully lonely. Behind him, Blair has already sat back down, sipping a glass of wine and opening her phone to check her engagement metrics. Perfect. 50,000 hearts. Even his stupid face has value, she mutters, not seeing Ethan as a human being at all. Ethan's iPhone screen lights up for the 20th time in 10 minutes. Not a text message, but a notification from the Find My Location system. Your location is being shared with Blair. It isn't a safety feature, it's a passive reminder. I'm watching you. Ethan is sitting in a noisy microbrewery in downtown Bellevue with Mark, the only college friend he still keeps in touch with. Mark glances at the phone vibrating aggressively on the table and raises an eyebrow. "Hey man, you're 36. Why is your wife tracking you like a criminal on parole?" "She just worries too much," Ethan lies, swallowing a bitter gulp of IPA. He glances at his watch. 8:45 p.m. The curfew Blair set is 9 p.m. He jumps to his feet, his face drained of color. "I gotta go. Sorry, Mark." The drive home turns into a panicked race. Ethan floors the gas pedal of his old Ford F-150, the speedometer shooting up to 50 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour residential zone. But rain and red lights hold him back. He pulls up in front of the house at 9:15 p.m., 15 minutes late. Ethan reaches up to press the garage door opener mounted on the sun visor. No familiar engine sound. The heavy garage door remains tightly shut. He tries again. Still silence. He jumps out of the truck and runs to the keypad mounted on the wall, punching in the code. The LED flashes red 3 times with a sharp beep. Access denied. The smart hub system, over which Blair holds admin control, has activated automatic lockdown mode after 9 p.m. Wind from Lake Washington cuts through the air, the outside temperature dropping to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, about 4 degrees Celsius. Wearing only a thin jacket, Ethan begins to shiver uncontrollably. Through the glass walls of the house, he can see warm yellow lights spilling from the living room where a gas fireplace burns, a place he is not allowed to enter. His phone vibrates. A message from Blair. "Rules are rules. This house isn't a hotel where you come and go whenever you want. Sleep in the car and sober up." "Ethan, please, it's really cold out here. I can't turn on the heater because I'm out of gas," Ethan texts back, his numb fingers struggling to type each word. 3 dots dance on the screen, as if she is weighing his life. Then the message arrives. "Fine, but you need to understand your mistake. Text me an apology 100 times. Exact wording: 'I'm sorry, Blair. I am an irresponsible husband.' No copy-paste. I'll check the typing logs." Ethan slumps his head against the icy steering wheel. His breath forms white clouds in the dark cabin. The pride of a man screams at him to smash the glass and force his way inside, but the fear of losing his daughter keeps him still. He opens the chat window, starts typing. "I'm sorry, Blair. I am an irresponsible husband. I'm sorry, Blair. I am an irresponsible husband." Above the garage, the Ring security camera blinks a cold blue light. Blair sits in the warm bedroom, a skincare mask on her face, watching live footage of her husband huddled in the truck, typing line after line of apology on her iPad screen. The next morning, Ethan steps into a Starbucks at the intersection of NE 8th Street. Dark circles ring his eyes after a night of broken sleep in the back seat of his truck because of the cold. Even though Blair finally unlocked the door at 2 a.m., he was too exhausted to go inside. He needs a hot black coffee just to get his brain functioning before heading to the job site. He stands in line among Amazon and Microsoft tech workers who chatter eagerly about stocks and ski vacations in Aspen. Ethan keeps his head down, feeling like a lost ghost in his wrinkled work clothes. "A Grande Pike Place, black, no sugar," Ethan says to the cashier with a nose ring. "That'll be $3.45, the girl says quickly, already holding out a paper cup. Ethan pulls out the gray debit card, the joint card shared by the couple, and taps it against the payment terminal. Beep. The screen flashes bright red. Transaction declined. The air seems to freeze. "Sir, the system says there's an error. Could you try again?" the cashier says, louder than necessary. A few people behind him sigh impatiently. Cold sweat breaks out on Ethan's skin. He knows that account holds at least $200,000 from Blair's book royalties and ad revenue, plus his small unemployment insurance payments. He tries again. Beep. The same damned red text. At that moment, the phone in Ethan's pocket vibrates twice sharply. He opens it. A notification from the Chase banking app appears. Alert. Ethan's secondary card weekly allowance has been reached. Available balance $0.00. Immediately after comes an iMessage from Blair. She has clearly received the payment attempt notification instantly. Are you really trying to burn $4 on that sewer water? You already used up your $50 allowance this week. I saw you get gas yesterday. That money is better spent buying 1,000 fake views for Lily's dancing TikTok video. Go home and drink tap water. Ethan is stunned. The allowance of a 36-year-old man, once a lead architect at a major firm, is now no more than a middle schooler's pocket money, $50 a week. And Blair uses the money he once earned to buy fake popularity for the daughter he is slowly losing connection with. Hey man, are you buying it or not? The suited man behind him snaps. Some of us have to get to work. Ethan's face burns red as if splashed with boiling water. His dignity is crushed in the middle of the crowd. Trembling, he reaches into his jeans pocket and rummages in desperation. He pulls out a handful of loose coins, a few quarters, dimes, and dusty pennies. He dumps the clinking pile onto the counter, bowing his head as he counts each coin under the cashier's pitying yet disdainful gaze. It's enough, Ethan murmurs, not daring to look up. He grabs the sculpting hot coffee and rushes out of the store like a thief, leaving behind whispers about that broke guy. That weekend, the neighboring Miller family hosts their annual BBQ party in their expansive 2-acre backyard overlooking Lake Washington. The air is thick with the scent of money. Wagyu beef sizzling on a big green egg grill, chilled glasses of Chardonnay, and the laughter of the tech elite. Ethan stands off to one corner of the yard, holding a beer he hasn't dared take a single sip of, afraid that even a trace of alcohol might upset Blair. He wears an old, faded polo shirt, painfully out of place among the Loro Piana outfits worn by the successful men around him. Ted, the host, a Microsoft executive, pats Ethan on the shoulder. Hey, Ethan, I hear you're a landscape architect. Mind giving me some advice on that rock fountain? The water flow doesn't seem quite right. Ethan's eyes brighten just a little. This is his field, the one thing that still makes him feel like he has value. He opens his mouth to explain hydrostatic pressure. Well, actually, you need to adjust the angle of... Oh, please, Ted. Blair's sharp voice slices through the air like a knife. She steps forward, linking her arm through Ethan's, her fingernails digging painfully into his bicep. Don't listen to him. My Ethan is great with theory, but when it comes to practice... She pauses, winking playfully at the crowd gathering around. What do you mean? Ted's wife asks, curious. Blair giggles, her voice loud enough for the entire party to hear. Last week, a light bulb burnt out in the bathroom. Can you believe it? A big, strong architect like this, and he spent 3 hours fiddling around and still couldn't even remove the light fixture cover. In the end, I had to hire a college kid off TaskRabbit to change the light bulb. $50 for a light bulb. Honestly, men these days. The crowd bursts into laughter. Pitying and mocking glances rain down on Ethan. The truth is, Blair had changed the smart lock password on the Philips Hue ceiling system, making it impossible for him to physically access the wiring without triggering an alarm. But he can't explain it here. Is that true, Ethan? Ted laughed loudly, slapping Ethan hard on the back. You should sign up for a husbanding for beginners class. Ethan feels his face burn. His stomach knots painfully. He grips the glass in his hands so tightly his knuckles turn white, on the verge of crushing it. Inside his head, he screams to tell the truth, to smash the beer glass onto the ground and walk away. But Blair looks up at him, her gaze icy and threatening. Try to embarrass me and you'll see what happens. Ethan takes a deep breath and swallows the humiliation. He relaxes his facial muscles and forces a crooked, miserable smile. Yeah, Blair's right. I'm pretty clumsy with that kind of thing. Good thing I have her to handle everything. Blair smiles in satisfaction, rises onto her toes and kisses his cheek, a victor's kiss bestowed upon a well-trained pet. See? I just adore his silly honesty of his, she says, then smoothly pulls the crowd into a conversation about her new book, leaving Ethan standing alone like a defective piece of decoration.
Tuesday afternoon, Ethan comes home earlier than usual, hoping to find a moment of peace after the humiliating incident at the neighbor's dinner party the night before. But as he passes by the solarium, the glass sunroom, a hollow, mindless pop beat pulses through the air, stopping him in his tracks. Through the glass door, he sees Lily, his 12-year-old daughter, standing beneath a blazing ring light. She no longer looks like the dirt-smudged child who used to chase him around the yard. Lily is wearing a tight designer crop top and branded shorts, her delicate face buried beneath heavy contour makeup, her eyes lined with sharp eyeliner. She poses stiffly for the camera, forcing the cold, mature expression of an adult model, a look utterly foreign to the innocence she once had. Hot blood surges to Ethan's head. His fatherly instinct explodes, overpowering the fear he has learned to live with. He storms into the room, knocks the phone off the stand, and kills the music. "Ethan, what are you doing? Why are you wearing makeup like this?" Ethan shouts, his voice shaking with pain, grabbing a tissue and reaching for her face, desperate to wipe it all away. Lily flinches, shrinking back. "Dad, Cut! What the hell do you think you're doing?" Blair steps out from the corner, an iced latte in her hand. She doesn't care that her daughter is being forced to grow up too fast. She only cares that Ethan has ruined the perfect lighting. She snatches the phone back and checks the screen. "Fantastic! You ruined the best take." "Have you lost your mind, Blair?" Ethan points at Lily, his hands trembling. "She's 12. You're stealing her childhood, turning her into a display item for strangers to stare at." Blair scoffs. "Stop with the fake morality, Ethan. Where do you think the money comes from to pay the $500 electric bill this month? This review video is sponsored. $5,000. She makes more in 15 seconds than you do digging dirt for an entire month." "I forbid this." Ethan turns to his daughter, his voice breaking into a plea. "Lily, go upstairs. Change. You don't have to do this." Lily looks at her father. For a fleeting moment, a silent cry for help flickers in her eyes. Then Blair's voice cuts in, cold and precise. "Lily, if you don't finish this video before dinner, I'll take your iPad away and cancel summer camp. Do you want to spend the whole summer at home watching your loser father plant grass?" The threat of social exile crushes her. Lily lowers her head. "I'm sorry, Dad. I need to work." She turns her back on him, forces a manufactured smile, and faces the camera again. Ethan stands frozen. He hasn't just lost financially, he has lost the battle for his daughter's soul. The bitterness of helplessness tightens around his throat. "Get out," Blair orders without looking at him, "and close the door. Don't let your negative failure energy infect her." Ethan steps out like a defeated man. The door slams shut behind him. The music resumes, drowning him in its empty rhythm. Standing alone in the hallway, Ethan feels reality begin to fracture, and for the first time, he wonders if this overwhelming powerlessness is a sign that he is truly losing his grip on sanity. That night, Ethan's head pounds like it's being struck with a hammer. The rap music from his daughter's room and his own helplessness buzz relentlessly in his skull. He walks into the large, marble-clad master bathroom, cold and echoing, looking for a bottle of Advil. He opens the medicine cabinet behind the mirror. Next to Blair's expensive serums, he sees an orange plastic prescription bottle, typical of American pharmacies like CVS. Ethan squints at the label. Patient, Ethan Miller. Prescribing physician, Dr. Eris. Medication, risperidone, antipsychotic. Indication, treatment of bipolar disorder and control of aggressive behavior. Ethan is stunned. He has never heard of this doctor, and he has certainly never been diagnosed with a mental illness. "Did you find your medication?" Blair's voice sounds right next to his ear, making Ethan jerk in shock and drop the bottle into the sink. She leans against the doorway wearing a silk robe, looking at him with an expression of pity mixed with concern, a kind of concern so fake it's chilling. "What the hell is this, Blair?" Ethan picks up the bottle, his hand shaking. "I'm not crazy. Why is my name on this?" Blair sighs and steps forward, placing a hand on his forehead, her voice gentle as if speaking to a slow child. Ethan, did you forget again? My God, Dr. Eris was right. Your short-term memory is deteriorating. What forget? I've never seen any Dr. Eris. Ethan backs away, brushing her hand off. She stares at him, her eyes filling with tears, an expert-level performance. Last Thursday night, you drank an entire bottle of whiskey in the basement. You smashed the TV in the living room and screamed that you wanted to burn the whole house down. Lily and I were terrified. I had to call Dr. Eris to give you a sedative injection right here at home so the neighbors wouldn't call the police. Ethan goes numb. He desperately searches his memory of Thursday night. He remembers coming home late from work, utterly exhausted after Blair had forced him to pull weeds in the yard for 4 hours the day before. He remembers drinking a glass of orange juice Blair handed him, and then nothing, just a thick black fog. I smashed the TV? Ethan asks, his voice hollow. I had to buy a new one and clean up all the glass before you woke up so you wouldn't feel guilty. Blair lies without blinking. In reality, she had slipped a heavy dose of sleeping pills into his orange juice and fabricated the entire story. She takes a pill from the bottle and holds it with a glass of water. The doctor says you need to take it regularly. If you don't, the next time you lose control, you might hurt Lily. You wouldn't want to hurt your daughter, would you, Ethan? Mentioning Lily is the killing blow. Ethan stares at the small white pill in Blair's palm. Fear creeps into his heart. What if I really am crazy? What if the pressure has turned me into a monster without me knowing? With trembling hands, Ethan takes the pill. He swallows it down along with the bitter doubt about his own sanity. Blair smiles and strokes his hair. Good boy. I'm only doing all of this because I want what's best for this family. 3 days pass since Ethan started taking the sedatives Blair gave him. His mind feels constantly foggy, his limbs heavy and weak, like he's living in someone else's body. The only thing that still brings him clarity when he comes home is Buddy, the 5-year-old golden retriever. Every time Ethan's car pulls in, Buddy always rushes to the door, tail wagging wildly, pressing his wet nose into Ethan's hand. It is the only unconditional love he has left. But today, the house is terrifyingly silent. Ethan enters through the garage. No barking, no clicking of claws on the wooden floor. Buddy's food bowl in the mudroom is gone. So is his dog bed. Buddy, where are you? Ethan calls out, his voice hoarse, unease rising in his chest. Blair is sitting on the vintage velvet blue sofa in the living room, worth $4,000, casually scrolling on her iPad. She doesn't look up, only takes a sip of her herbal tea. Stop looking. He's gone, Blair says flatly, as if she just threw away an old pair of shoes. Ethan rushes into the living room and freezes in front of her. What did you say? Gone where? Why? Blair slowly lifts her gaze and points to a faint scratch, barely visible unless you look closely, on the armrest of the expensive sofa. That wild animal of yours scratched my couch, and worse. She pauses, her eyes sharp as blades. This morning, he growled and tried to bite Lily's face while she was filming a video. Liar! Ethan shouts, rage exploding through the medication-induced haze. Buddy has never hurt anyone. He's the gentlest dog in the world. Blair stands up and faces Ethan, her voice ice cold. Are you calling me a liar? You, a man who has to take antipsychotic medication, dare to question my memory? For my daughter's safety, I called animal control. Ethan feels the blood in his veins turn to ice. In America, once a dog is reported as dangerous or having bitten someone and taken to a county shelter, its fate is decided in hours. You took him to a public shelter? Ethan's voice cracks in despair. Do you know that's a kill shelter? They'll euthanize him if it's overcrowded. Blair shrugs and turns away. That's not my fault. That's the consequence of you not knowing how to train your dog. You have 48 hours to go there and claim his body, or they'll take care of it for you. But let me be clear. If you bring that dog back here, I'll call my lawyer and file for divorce immediately. Choose carefully, the dog or this family. Ethan stands frozen in the middle of the cold, luxurious living room. His eyes drift back to the scratch on the sofa, the real reason Buddy was thrown away. A single tear rolls down his cheek. This is no longer the tear of weakness. It is the tear of awakening. The final thread has snapped. The real monster in this house is not Buddy. It is not him. It is her. Ethan turns and runs for the door. He has to save Buddy, and after that, he will save himself. A loud bang shakes the entire ground floor. The heavy oak door is kicked open by Ethan. He storms in, soaked from the rain, clutching a crumpled pink sheet of paper, the owner surrender receipt from King County Animal Control. On the line labeled Reason, Blair's neat handwriting clearly reads, "Request for euthanasia due to aggressive biting behavior." Blair is standing in the kitchen, preparing dinner for Lily like a devoted mother. She turns around, completely unfazed, as if she has been waiting for this moment. "You dared to sign Buddy's death sentence?" Ethan roars, his voice echoing through the massive house. He throws the receipt at her face. "You lied. You wanted him dead because he scratched your damn couch." Blair picks up the paper calmly, tears it into pieces, and drops them into the garbage disposal in the sink. The grinding noise shrieks through the room. "You're losing control, Ethan," she says coolly, taunting him. "Did your medication wear off?" "I'm not crazy. You're the crazy one." Ethan steps closer, 10 years of suppressed rage erupting. He swings his arm and sweeps the Le Creuset tea set off the counter. Porcelain shatters violently across the floor. "I'm divorcing you. I'm taking Lily and Buddy out of this hell tonight." This is the moment Blair has been waiting for. Instantly, she starts screaming hysterically, not at Ethan, but into the phone secretly recording in her pocket. "Ethan, stop! Don't hit me! Please don't hit me again! Ah!" Ethan freezes, stunned. "What are you talking about? I haven't touched you." Blair doesn't answer. She turns toward the kitchen cabinets and uses her fingernails to rake hard across her own neck and collarbone. Fresh red scratches bloom on her pale skin. She grabs a bottle of red wine and smashes it against the marble countertop. The bottle explodes, wine splattering all over her white blouse, looking exactly like blood. She turns back to him, smiling demonically. "You didn't touch me, and who's going to believe you, Ethan? A large man with a documented mental illness, destroying property in a drunken rage?" Ethan realizes the trap. He steps backwards, raising both hands in surrender. You set me up." Blair grabs a sharp shard of broken glass and lunges toward Ethan as if to attack. Instinctively, Ethan raises his arm to block and pushes her away. Blair falls onto the slick floor, wet with spilled wine, landing precisely where she intended, directly beneath the security camera mounted in the corner of the ceiling. From the camera's silent angle, the footage will show Ethan advancing aggressively, smashing objects, then raising his arm and physically assaulting his fragile wife, sending her crashing to the floor. Blair lies there, lips curling to a smile, and reaches for her phone to dial 911. Her voice switches instantly to panic and sobbing. "Help! My husband! He has a weapon! He's trying to kill me!" Less than 5 minutes later, the red and blue flashing lights of 3 King County Sheriff patrol cars tear through the quiet night of the upscale neighborhood. The sirens cut off as they stop, but the tension remains thick in the air. 2 deputies enter the house with their hands on their holsters, shouting, "Sheriff's office! Show me your hands!" What they see is a perfect domestic violence scene. Ethan stands in the middle of the wrecked kitchen, shards of porcelain and broken glass scattered at his feet. His face is flushed, his chest heaving from rage and panic. Across from him, Blair is curled up against the wall, her blouse soaked in red liquid that looks like blood, her hand clutching her scratched neck, tears streaming down her face. "Officer, please help me," Blair sobs, pointing at Ethan. "He snapped. He was going to kill the dog, and when I tried to stop him, he—" "No, she's lying," Ethan steps forward to explain. "Don't move! Turn around and face the wall!" the larger male deputy shouts, drawing his taser and aiming it at Ethan. By procedure, Ethan, a large, agitated man, is treated as a potential threat. Ethan is slammed against the cold wall. Rough hands wrench his arms behind his back. The dry metallic click echoes as the handcuffs shut sharp around his wrists. Ethan Miller, you are under arrest for domestic violence, assault in the 4th degree, and malicious mischief, the deputy recites the Miranda rights mechanically. You're wrong! Look, that's wine, not blood! She scratched herself! Ethan screams in desperation. No one listens. The other deputy is taking Blair's statement. She produces Ethan's bottle of risperidone as damning evidence. He has a psychiatric disorder, officer. He stopped taking his medication a few days ago. That statement, combined with the wreckage, seals Ethan's fate. Washington law requires the arrest of the primary aggressor, and all signs point to the large man shouting in handcuffs. Ethan is escorted out to the patrol car. The rain is still pouring. Neighbors have come out onto the street, phones raised, recording him. Camera flashes stab into Ethan's face like knives. He lowers his head as humiliation seeps into every cell of his body. Before the patrol car door closes, Ethan looks up and sees Blair standing at the second-floor window. Her tears are gone. In her hand is not a tissue, but her phone recording him being shoved into the steel cage. Blair looks at him, and through the rain-streaked glass, Ethan swears he sees her mouth a single word: smile. The patrol car drives away, carrying Ethan from the home, the family, and the life he once built, and plunging him into the cold darkness of a holding cell. 24 hours later, Ethan walked out of the King County Correctional Facility in downtown Seattle. He was wearing the same clothes from the night before, stained with mud and splashed with red wine, now dried stiff and giving off a sour stench. He had not been held long-term because this was his first offense and he had been released on bail, but the price he paid was the thin sheet of paper clenched in his hand, a temporary protection order. The judge's ruling had been cold and absolute. Ethan was prohibited from coming within 500 feet, 152 meters, of Blair Miller, Lily Miller, and the house at 2046 Bellevue Way. Any violation of this order would mean immediate rearrest. Ethan took a taxi back to his neighborhood. The car stopped at the entrance of the street, exactly at the legally permitted distance. The rain had stopped, but the air was biting cold. From afar, Ethan stared at the house whose landscaping he had personally designed, every bush, every blade of grass. The lights inside were still on, warm and bright, yet utterly foreign. He saw Blair's silhouette moving in the kitchen and briefly caught sight of Lily sitting at her study desk. He wanted to scream his daughter's name, to run inside, to hold her and tell her that her father was not insane. But a patrol car was parked squarely in front of the house, a steel reminder of the 500-foot boundary. Blair had requested police monitoring to ensure he did not return for revenge. Ethan's phone, just returned by the police, buzzed. An email from the August Lock smart door system appeared. Admin access for Ethan has been revoked. Immediately after came a bank notification, credit card locked due to suspicious activity. He had been completely evicted. No change of clothes, no toothbrush, no cash, and no family. Ethan trudged on foot to the empty lot where he had parked his Ford F-150 pickup truck the night before. Luckily, the police had not towed it. It was the only asset still under his control. That night, in the vast parking lot of a Walmart supermarket, the only place that allowed RVs and homeless people to park overnight without being chased away, Ethan curled up in the back seat of the cramped pickup truck. He wrapped himself in an old wool blanket he always kept in the truck and ate a cold deli sandwich bought with loose coins scavenged from the ashtray. Around him were other trucks belonging to other homeless people, shattered lives of the so-called American dream. Ethan turned on his phone. He did not dare call anyone. He opened Instagram. Blair had just posted a new photo. The picture showed her hand tightly holding Lily's, accompanied by the caption, "Tonight, my daughter and I are safe. Thank you to the justice system for protecting us from a monster. The healing journey begins here. Hashtag domestic violence survivor. Hashtag stronger together." Tens of thousands of likes and supportive comments flooded in. "Stay strong, Blair. My heart breaks for you and your daughter. That bastard husband deserves to rot in prison." Ethan turned off the screen. In the darkness of the pickup truck, thick with the smell of gasoline, the 36-year-old man broke down sobbing like a child. Not from hunger, not from the cold, but because he realized one thing: the entire world had believed her story. He was socially dead. The next morning, Ethan woke up in a cheap roadside Motel 6 room that reeked of stale cigarette smoke.
He had sold his commemorative wristwatch to pay for the room because his bank cards were frozen. He turned on his phone. A storm of notifications exploded across the screen. The local TV channel, Cairo 7 News, was airing an exclusive interview with Blair. She was sitting in the living room, the same room Ethan had just been thrown out of, wearing an immaculate white outfit, her eyes swollen but resolute. The chyron beneath the screen read, "Famous KOL breaks silence on domestic violence." "I stayed silent for too long because I wanted to protect my daughter," Blair said on TV, wiping away a single tear at the perfectly timed moment. "But I realized that silence enables evil. Ethan is a monster hiding behind a gentle facade." The hashtags Save Blair and Justice for Blair were trending #1 on Twitter, X, in the Seattle area. Thousands of strangers were cyber-attacking Ethan's personal accounts. They called him a wife-beater, human trash. His email address, phone number, even his license plate number had been doxed online. The phone rang. It was Robert, the HR director of the architecture firm Ethan freelanced for. "Robert," said coldly, "have you seen the news?" "Robert, listen to me. She's acting." "Stop," Robert cut him off. "We don't care who's right or wrong. The company has a morality and public image clause. Your arrest and the online backlash are damaging our reputation. Investors are pulling out. We have no choice but to terminate your contract effective immediately. Don't come to the office to collect your things. Security won't let you in. We'll mail them to you." Beep, beep. Ethan let his arm drop. He had lost everything: his home, his child, his dog, his reputation, and now his livelihood. This civilized American society had turned its back on him because of a manipulated video and a few fake tears. Knock, knock. The dry sound of knocking echoed through the motel room. Ethan flinched. Were the police back to arrest him again, or extremists from the internet coming to attack him? He cracked the door open, the safety chain still firmly latched. Outside was not the police. It was a young woman, around 28 years old, her hair tied in a messy bun, wearing a cheap suit slightly too big for her frame, holding a thick stack of files in her arms. She looked exhausted, but her eyes burned with sharp intensity. "Ethan Miller?" the woman asked. "Who are you, a reporter? Get lost." "I'm a lawyer," the woman spoke quickly, blocking the door with her foot, "and I'm the only person in this state who believes you're not insane." Ethan froze. "Why?" Sarah pulled out a set of printed charts filled with tangled lines. She claimed she was so terrified during your attack that her heart felt like it was about to jump out of her chest, right? But the data from her Apple Watch at 9:15 p.m., the exact time of the 911 call, shows her heart rate was steady at 65 beats per minute. Sarah looked straight into Ethan's eyes and smirked. 65. That's the heart rate of someone watching Netflix, Ethan, not a panicked victim. Let me in. We're going to flip the board. Courtroom number 4, King County Superior Court, Seattle, 9 a.m. The air inside the courtroom is thick and suffocating. The gallery is packed with reporters and Blair's supporters, many of them wearing T-shirts printed with the words, "Justice for Blair." Ethan sits at the defendant's table, wearing a borrowed suit from attorney Sarah. He looks gaunt and exhausted. Beside him, Sarah sits upright, her fingers moving swiftly across an iPad Pro, her expression cold and sharply focused. On the witness stand, Blair is delivering the performance of her lifetime. She wears no makeup, deliberately exposing dark circles under her eyes. Her voice trembles, and every few moments she lifts a tissue to dab at her tears. "Miss Blair," her attorney, a pricey man from a prestigious law firm, asks gently, "could you tell the jury about that fateful night?" Blair sobs. "I only wanted to protect the dog, Buddy, but Ethan, he became like a different person. He smashed a wine bottle and lunged at me. I thought I was going to die that night." The entire courtroom falls silent with emotion. The jurors stare at Ethan with bullet-hard eyes. Ethan lowers his head, his hands gripping the edge of the table. Now it is Sarah's turn for cross-examination. She stands, walks slowly toward the witness stand. There is no aggression, only lethal calm. Miss Blair, you insist that the video you posted on Instagram showing your husband smashing things was completely spontaneous with no staging or editing involved. Is that correct? Absolutely, Blair answers, her gaze steady. Who would stage their own pain? Sarah smiles, a smile that makes Blair uneasy. Miss Blair, you are a social media professional. You use the Apple ecosystem for your entire family, correct? You use an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and your daughter Lily uses a pink iPad Air. Blair's attorney jumps to his feet. Objection, Your Honor. What does my client's phone usage have to do with this case? Everything, Your Honor, Sarah replies loudly, turning to the jury. Because Miss Blair, Sarah raises a pink iPad into the air, enabled, but she forgot about sync delay. This morning, Lily gave me this iPad. The original video was never deleted from her device. Lily saved it in a hidden folder called The Truth. Blair's face drains of color. The mask of confidence begins to crack. Sarah connects the iPad to the courtroom's large display system. I request permission to present Exhibit A, the original unedited video from October 15. The video begins to play. The oxygen seems to vanish from the room. On the screen, the camera angle is much wider than the Instagram clip. It reveals the entire kitchen, including professional lighting equipment, softbox lights, already set up, something that would never exist in a spontaneous domestic violence incident. In the video, Blair is standing in front of a mirror holding an SFX makeup palette. As she applies purple coloring to her neck, she calls out, "Lily, turn the ring light up another 20%. I need deeper shadows so I look more pitiful on camera." Blair's voice in the video is cold and sharp, with none of the trembling she displays in court. Next, Blair turns toward the corner of the room where Ethan is slumped in a chair, completely broken. "Hey, useless piece of trash, get up, take your position," Blair yells. "Do you want Buddy to live or not? If you do, grab that wine bottle and smash it on the floor when I say action, and scream loud enough for the neighbors to hear. Miss the timing, and I'll tell the shelter to euthanize Buddy immediately." In the video, Ethan lifts his head, tears filling his eyes. "Please don't hurt him, Blair. I'm begging you. I'll do anything." "Good," Blair sneers, turning back to the camera, taking a deep breath and counting. 3, 2, 1, action. Instantly, she begins screaming theatrically, "Don't hit me! Somebody help me!" While Ethan merely stands there helplessly smashing the bottle on the floor as instructed. The video ends. The screen goes black. For 10 seconds, the courtroom is dead silent, not a single sound, not even breathing. The contrast between the fragile woman on the witness stand and the cold monster revealed in the video is unbearable. Then the murmurs erupt like a shattered beehive. Blair's supporters begin removing their shirts and hiding their faces. The jurors stare at her with disgust. On the witness stand, Blair trembles violently. This time, it is no act. She knows she is finished. In a moment of absolute panic, she jumps to her feet and points toward the gallery at no one. "It was that little bitch Lily. She set me up. I raised a snake in my own house. I should never have given birth to her." Those words become the final nail in her coffin. The judge slams the gavel repeatedly. "Order! Bailiffs, restrain the witness immediately." Sarah looks at Ethan. For the first time, he lifts his head high. He does not smile. He simply exhales, as if a massive weight that had crushed his chest for 10 years has finally been lifted. 30 minutes later, the judge delivers an immediate summary judgment, citing the severity of the crimes and the undeniable evidence. All charges against Ethan Miller are dismissed. Blair Miller's parental rights are permanently terminated.
Full custody of Lily, along with all shared assets, including reputational compensation, are awarded to Ethan. An immediate arrest warrant is issued for Blair Miller on charges of perjury, fabrication of evidence, and child endangerment. Police officers handcuff Blair. She screams and struggles as she is dragged out through the back exit. But this time, no cameras are pointed at her. The media has turned away. She disappears into the darkness she deserves. Outside the courthouse, the Seattle rain has stopped. Rare beams of sunlight break through the gray clouds. Ethan walks down the courthouse steps. A police car pulls up. An officer steps out, leading an aging golden retriever whose tail is wagging wildly. It is Buddy. Attorney Sarah had used an emergency court order to retrieve him early that morning. Buddy leaps into Ethan's arms, licking his face. Ethan drops to his knees, holding his four-legged friend tightly, burying his face in the warm fur. Nearby, Lily runs over. She has wiped off the heavy makeup and wears an oversized hoodie and jeans, exactly what a 12-year-old girl should look like. "Dad," Lily sobs. "I'm here." "We're safe now," Ethan whispers, pulling both his daughter and Buddy into his arms. Ethan drives his old Ford F-150 pickup truck, now with a full tank of gas, along Interstate I-90, heading toward the towering mountains ahead. Lily sits in the passenger seat, rolling the window down, letting the wind rush through her hair. She holds a brand new iPhone 15 Pro Max in her hand. "Dad?" Lily asks. "Yes?" She doesn't answer. Instead, she tosses the phone out the window. The device flies down into the roadside ravine, shattering into pieces. Lily turns back and smiles brightly at her father. "Can we go get burgers somewhere without Wi-Fi?" Ethan smiles, a smile of freedom. "Sure, burgers and a large order of fries." The small truck fades into the horizon, leaving behind the glossy, hollow tech city.